Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Online Plans. How are you today? So today in today's video we're going to be setting up my Hobonichi weeks for the week of, what week are we on? We are moving on to the week of May 15th all the way up to May 21st. So if you wanted to kind of see how everything will turn out, then just stay tuned and let's just dive right in. If this is the first time that we're meeting, well, hello, how are you? How is your day going? I don't know how your day is going. Right now we're on the 20th week of the year, which is quite exciting. We talk a couple of times a week on this channel, anything and everything, planning, journaling, stationery, fountain pens, all the things. And soon we're going to be chatting a little bit more about books as well. So if you love all of those things, then you and I should definitely hang out. Okay, why don't we just dive in? I honestly have no direction whatsoever. One thing I should mention, I do have my little coffee here ready to go. This is, I believe it's a breakfast blend from Starbucks, and it's an espresso, and the creamer is just your general oat creamer from, I will just put it right on the screen. And I also I drizzled a little bit of honey in there, and it just adds like a little bit of an interesting flavor and interesting taste to it. So if you've never tried coffee with a little bit of honey, I highly recommend it. So it's sort of like I flavored my creamer, which, I mean, in retrospect, I could have actually steamed the creamer and then added the honey in so that it becomes more intense. We did not go that far because we're not that extra. So let me just take a sip and let's get started. And you know the drill. I think I'm going to set up some lights just so that, because right now, even though the sun is not very strong, I do feel like it might be an issue. Let me see if we can get you guys zoomed in. Well, actually, you know what? You might be okay. You might be okay. I want to make sure that the lighting does not affect the quality. Okay. Anywhere where I know that you're not going to be able to see something clearly, I will do my best to zoom in, and I will add in extra shots so that, you know, you can see everything. But just put some music on and let's get the planning going. So here we go. First and foremost, before we even dive into anything, I wanted to apologize if you hear any background sound, any background noise. That's just how life is. Here is the pen that I'm going to be using. This is the Uni One pen in 0.38 thickness, and the color is Nemophila Blue, whatever that means. It's a type of blue. Let's just go with that. So as you can tell, I'm setting up the grid really similar to last week. I do have like a thin little, like a column that I created on the first third on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side of the page I'm basically breaking it up into 4 sections, and you will see in a moment as to why. But my categories haven't really changed all that much. I kind of keep it fairly consistent. I might play around with different layouts and different grids later on in the next coming weeks, but for now this is kind of what it looks like in normal light. With the sunlight, I'm trying to work with it as best as possible, but sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. Anyway, looking at next week, now we're moving a little bit away from the holidays, and we're getting closer and closer to June, which means that the weather is going to be a lot nicer, which also means that things are going to be a lot brighter and airier and all the things. I decided that I have like this journaling set that I bought. I believe this is from Cute Things from Japan, and it's from Swatelier. I absolutely love this kit. If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. It just makes planning in the Hobonichi just so much easier. It makes it seamless. The stickers actually stay. It's easy to work with it. You know the drill. The colors are muted enough where you can kind of coordinate it with whatever you want, but they stand out enough and they're not in your face. I don't know. It just, to me, it's working. Now we're moving on to the right hand side of the page, and I'm trying to decide if I wanted to use a brush pen or if I wanted to use the highlighter first. I'm going with the highlighter, and now in retrospect, it's fine, but right after I used this blue highlighter, I had such a regret moment with it, mainly because it just kind of felt like it didn't really work. With the spread, I should have went with like browns and muteds, but that's okay. And for reference, this is like a vintage, it's a vintage looking like retro type of highlighter. It's a dual ended. The color is called Cloudy Blue and it's created by Iconic. So there you go. I'm using my brand new pen from Midori, and to me it's such a learning curve to use this, where it's so smooth when it gets going, but then afterwards it just starts skipping sometimes. So I'm trying my best to kind of find like the right angle where I can hand letter with it and things are kind of looking smoother. But the categories that I'm going with is priority, inbox. I'm adding a new category called Don't Forget, and the bottom is going to be next week. So I haven't really talked much about this as far as like layouts and things like that is concerned, but I'm moving a little bit away from the tracker because I'm not really using it in this planner. I generally don't really use a ton of trackers anyway. I tend to use the Don't Forget a little bit more in both my common planner as well as now I'm hoping that I will actually utilize that space here a little bit more. But I'm just moving away from trackers because I just find that it just takes up space and I'm not using it. I don't know if you feel that way, but I think that once you have like a section in your planner that is really not being utilized, it's not really being functional, that's sort of when it's time to kind of move on and away from it. I'm also on a mission at the moment to just kind of use up as much of my existing stash before some of my new stuff arrives. So that has been working out relatively well with both inks and with just, I don't know, using colors, using stickers, using any type of decor that I have on hand. Now, one thing I wanted to mention that I think is very important is that I want to be able to, and maybe I will do that with next week's spread somehow, but I wanted to add like a section in here that is all about reflection, because especially within business as well as in my personal life, it is very important that we kind of take some time to actually reflect on what has been working. It's sort of like a recap of your week to see what is actually working for you versus just keep looking at the next thing and the next thing. This kit, by the way, I bought this as a journaling kit, and I didn't really know how to utilize it effectively. I really love the abstract pieces in there, and I see how well the colors work with the sidebar, but then like I said, that's kind of why I regret the blue highlighter. It's okay, it's fine, it's not the biggest deal, but I realized that after I put down the highlighter that I really should have kind of skipped that, or I should have just went with like a muted brown or like a taupey red or a mauve color. You live and you learn, and that's okay. I have to say I'm actually quite excited for next week, even though I haven't written in the appointments just yet, but for next week, I actually have a hair appointment. So stoked. Honestly, you know when you get a haircut and you're thinking it's going to look so amazing, and then after that you start rocking that haircut, and then eventually you realize how much it's actually aging you. Yeah, that's my life right now. So I cannot wait to kind of go back a similar style to what I've had for many, many years. It was kind of working. It allowed me to be confident, all the things. So that is important because it will kind of relate to, you know, the word of the week that we're going to choose. And the kit that I'm using here, this is sort of like a press-on sticker set. I believe this is also from Midori. Most of these are either from Mindwave or Midori, and they just kind of work. They don't bulk up your planners. They're kind of neutral. They kind of go with any of the spreads that you do, and I don't know, it just makes planning relatively effortless, if you ask me. So here's the thing. Here you're going to see all of the added elements. Right now I'm just adding some of the dot stickers, which I've been really actually loving, because it just kind of combines and it kind of like pulls the two sides of the page together color coordination wise. I'm also adding this tiny little micro, well, these are crocodiles, but I bought them in crocodiles and dogs, and I forget what the last one is, but these tiny little icons. And honestly, like these characters, they're just so damn cute. But it's not overpowering enough that it's too large to, you know, to kind of take over your entire spread, which is why I absolutely love it. And see what I mean? You just add like a little emoji, like a little icon, and it's just too cute. We're moving on to adding in all of the appointments that are kind of coming up, or all of the important things that are coming up. I don't tend to fill this out too much. I tend to actually update this as we go. And yes, we still don't have password photos, so hopefully by next week we can actually get that finished up. I just have like these mundane tasks that I need to actually get done. It's next week doesn't feel nearly as heavy or as just mentally challenging as this past week was, with like 4 different interviews. I find that when I have to be on for that many days in a row, it does become kind of mentally exhausting. So there is that. So next week feels a lot lighter in that regard, and it just feels like we can actually catch our breath. Okay, word of the week. So the word of the week this week is going to be kindness. So the whole inspiration behind the word kindness was really, in order for me to practice kindness, I need to be okay with being vulnerable. And it's also just being okay with doing kind things for myself as much as I do them for other people. As much as I'm extending kindness for others and understanding, the same kind of has to be true for myself as well. So that starts with things like a hair appointment, especially when I don't get my hair done very often, and just realizing that when something is not working, it doesn't mean that I'm broken or I'm not worthy. It just simply means that at this given time it didn't work out. So we learn from it and then we kind of just move on. So anyways, I really love the way that this kind of worked out. I think it looks spread out, it looks spacious, it looks amazing. Definitely filling it in with the fountain pen makes a world of a difference. I love the way the ink flows. I love everything about it. So hence why I'm always stenciling these words in, no matter how tedious it seems, no matter how unnecessary it seems. But I think that that's sort of what ends up pulling the entire spread together, in my opinion. So enjoy. this is all I wanted to share with you guys. So this is sort of the finished look. Again, I will show you a close-up of everything. I do love the little icons. So I do love the little froggy. I think that looks super cute everywhere, and it doesn't feel too crowded. There's still plenty of space for me to write. Sometimes I do regret adding all of these extra decor because I think that this could be used more functionally, but honestly I don't end up using it for anything really, so this is more just there for fun. But this is all I have for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, you can subscribe, you can also follow me on Patreon if you want even more behind the scenes videos. If you want early access to certain videos, then you're definitely want to check that out. But just the fact that you're here and hanging out with me also just means the world to me. So thank you so much for sharing your time and your space with me, and keep shining and keep playing with these awesome tools. And I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.